how about this? I go to Axios. Let's see what they think is worthy of news. Coming soon, the Axios show. Okay, to be fair, telling people who read your website about your own news show is something. But I'm going to make this argument. I'm going to play the same game as Axios. That's not news. Axios is leveraging their website to profit off of an audience trying to find out information on a murder. The funny thing is when they write that MAGA is using and sharing videos. What? Yes, it's called the news.
Yeah. Right.
And they're acting like Trump supporters. It's not even just Trump supporters. Did something wrong for being like, I am concerned about this murder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the Republicans' pounce. When you don't have, when the story blows up your narrative so badly, the only thing you have left is to say, look, the Republicans are bad for talking about this.
Here's what they think is bigger news. Kushner joins Witkoff to meet Netanyahu advisor on Gaza.
Super big news.
Sure. I mean, it's not news. But my point is this. A woman is brutally murdered for no reason, and the man has a blade dripping with blood as she dies in front of a crowd. And they're like, but, advisors are meeting. And that's the game. I'm not saying that this is not important news. Of course, it's important news. But the idea that Axios would play the game, that individuals sharing video make something that shouldn't be news, you just arbitrarily decide when you think something should be on your front page, you hypocrites.
I also think, to your Gen Z point, that the reason this really jumped off is in an era where everything is racist, nothing is racist, and they just don't care. It's kind of impressive seeing this newer generation. They just don't care. They see that, they know something's wrong, and so they just push it out. And it's great.
It's the syndrome meme. When everyone is racist, no one will be.
Yeah.
And that's Instagram right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z on Instagram is just. They're just as racist as they could possibly be. I've never seen a more racist generation.
5 years ago, they were told they were racist for not posting a black square on Instagram. So it's going to go the other way.
I think part of it is the fact that like the Black Lives Matter narrative has been so utterly destroyed, right? Whether it be the results of having police have body cameras all the time.
Yeah.
You see so many interactions with police where the person would be saying, "Oh, they were racist, blah blah blah." But you see, these interactions with the police are doing their best to do their job, and they get attacked.
And that was supposed to change the game. We were supposed to know, because now they have these body cams. The data didn't change, even though they all now have these body cams.
Sean Fitzgerald had the best take on this. He said, this is the ultimate monkey's paw wish, because Black Lives Matter said, we want to get body cams. We know we'll prove these cops are racist. We'll prove these cops are tracking down young black men and killing them, blah, blah, blah. They got exactly what they wanted, and it proved the exact opposite of what they said. And it's something that everyone has known for a long time, or at least the statistics, the FBI has known. The statistics have been there. Basically, it's about 12 to 15 unarmed black men are killed a year when interacting with the police. Now, that doesn't mean that they were doing what the police says. It doesn't mean that they were complying with the orders. It just means that they were unarmed and they ended up dead with an interaction with the police.
I'd like to say that the ultimate monkey's paw wish was the leftists taking the paw and saying, I wish that this country had a racial awakening.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, 100%. A whole bunch of white people are like, let's have a conversation about the racism.
This is exactly what the argument that we were making or at least I was making when people were talking about CRT. CRT, critical race theory, literally awakens a critical racial consciousness in the people. When you teach people, there's going to be that kind of mindset to see the world in that way. There's going to be a certain percentage of the people that are going to say, okay, I see this, and I don't care. I don't feel bad. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not going to hate myself or my friends or my family because they're the wrong color.
I want to point this out real quick. On Google, I searched New York Times, Irina Zarutska, AI overview. As of September 8th, 2025, there is no evidence the New York Times has published a story specifically about Irina Zarutska. This has become a point of controversy and criticism with some media commentators and conservative news outlets. Other news outlets have covered the story. New York Times doesn't care. They could write it up. They just don't care. It's remarkable. What they're telling you is they decide what the narrative will be, not you. Well, I think we're winning this one. We're changing the game.
Yeah. Well, like Phil, it's like we were talking about where you're saying with Zoomers, our reaction to this. It's like, because we grew up, I mean, I'm 24, so I grew up, the Michael Brown, all that stuff happens. I'm a teenager. And then as I'm matriculating into adult life, the BLM riots are going on in 2020, and you see that. But then you live somewhere like Memphis, and you look around and see where the violent crime is happening and by who. And you're sitting there like, okay, who's being victimized here in American society? Is it black men by police officers, or is it like white men and women just trying to ride the train? And it's like, you're supposed to, you're not supposed to believe your lying eyes or whatever. And it's like, yeah. And then you get on Instagram and people are expressing like, no, I think who's being victimized by who is completely, the priorities are completely out of whack.
Yeah, I mean, the stats we ran them at the beginning of the show, 500 and something thousand.
Yeah.
White people are victimized by black people, and something like
92,000.
92,000
Yeah.
black people.
462% higher.
Yeah.
Black on white than white on black.
But we're burning cities down for like what, 12?
It's white liberals doing it.
Yeah, that too as well. Yeah.
Let's, we got this story from the New York Post. Ladies and gentlemen, with the story about Irina Zarutska going viral, on Saturday, another story. Auburn veterinary professor hacked to death by fiend while walking her dog in the park. This woman went to the park to walk her dog when a man allegedly stabbed her to death, and for seemingly no reason. The worrying thing is that these stories happen quite a bit. In 2022, the number was 542,000 black on white crimes and 96,000 white on black crimes. I normally don't care to pull these stats up. I got to be honest. The Will Cain show pulled them up. I don't really care because I'm like, listen, people shouldn't be allowed to be violent. I don't care about your race. The cops should arrest them, and we should have a right to defend ourselves. And if I don't know if it matters for me as an individual walking down the street, the race of the individual who's coming to cause harm to me. What matters in that moment is, can I protect myself and defend myself? In Democrat-run cities, the answer is no. Mm-hmm. If I call the police, are they going to help me? In Democrat-run cities, the answer is no. Certainly, there is a sociological element where we can say there's an interesting phenomenon where black on white crime is 462% higher than white on black crime. Certainly. That's not going to protect people in the immediate and the short term. Mm-hmm. These stories are happening, and they're picking up steam, and the Irina Zarutska story is going viral, and this story is now starting to go viral because people are tired of, one, being lied to by the left about police brutality, and I'll tell you this personally, Chicago is tired of 100 years of Democrat supermajority with nothing being done about the crime. Mm-hmm. Nothing. And so when Trump says National Guard, now he said Chicago's going to learn why we call it the Department of War. Okay, I get it. It's not very delicate, Trump. But I don't care. I say Trump, send in the troops. And I got these liberals tweeting like, you really want National Guard on your trains? Yes. Yeah. It's wild. I tweeted, if there was one National Guard member on that train, this wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. And I get these liberals being like, and now you want National Guard members on trains? And I'm just sitting here thinking like, I've been on the train with the National Guard before. I have been in cities during riots where National Guard was deployed, and they're on the trains. And you know what happens? It's gonna terrify you. I say, howdy. And they go, how's it going? Yeah. And then I get off the train. What do they think is going to happen? I'm going to get a cheeseburger. I know it's bothering me.
If I can't carry my gun on the train, I would like a National Guard member with a rifle, loaded, please, on the train.
I got to push back on that one. I don't like the government telling me I can't carry my weapon and then sending in troops with guns. That's how they get you.
Sure.
However, that being said, this is a jurisdictional issue where Chicago causes problems for gun owners, and Trump, the federal government, says we're going to put a stop to what they're doing. In fact, the Supreme Court, the federal level, made it. It was 2010 McDonald v. Chicago, where the Supreme Court was like, you can't stop people from carrying weapons outside their house, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And they were pissed. And they put up a bunch of signs all over all the city buildings with big, like, no gun with a line through it. Like, you can't do it. Well, Supreme Court, the federal government came to protect us from the tyranny of the Democrats in Chicago. Right now, they're stopping us from defending ourselves. So in this capacity, I say, send in the National Guard. Yeah. Armed or otherwise, I literally don't care. I would rather be on a train with 50 National Guard doing jumping jacks and hoorahing or whatever than one gangbanger.
I think it would be better if not. Look, I know that Chicago's got problems. There are plenty of cities that have problems. It might be a better idea for the Trump administration to send the National Guard into blue cities in red states. He'll get less pushback from the governments. From the governors. He'll see, real, tangible results, and then you can blame the Democrats for why there are blue cities in red states that have less crime than the blue cities in the blue states.
But they're not really. That's the problem. Red states, their cities are slightly smaller, and when they do have bad crime, it's not anywhere near as bad as Chicago. Chicago, look, shout out to Baltimore. Baltimore's bad. But Chicago is, in terms of crime, in my opinion, Chicago is the capital of the country. I'll tell you why. It's not the highest murder rate per capita. I think it might have the overall highest murder rate in general. But the issue with Chicago is the institutionalized criminal activities, the corrupt politicians.
It's been that way since the
forever. I'm like, bro, it's been 100 years.
Prohibition.
100 years of Democrat rule, and Al Capone, that was the crime area. It never stopped. There's been gangs and gangbangers and crime in Chicago forever. So it's not just murder. It's organized crime. You've got the cops operating black sites and torturing people. It is miserable. Trump, just send in the feds, take it over, shut it down. All right? They are not abiding by the Constitution and protecting the rights of the American citizens who live there. And as someone who is from there, I wish I didn't have to leave. I like Chicago. But I always tell people it sucks. And it sucks that I have to say that. I think Chicago's got the best food.
It's how
best food.
It's how I feel about New York. You know, I had to leave New York because of how crazy it was when we were living in Brooklyn and going to Manhattan a bunch and getting threatened on the trains all the time. I got to say, though, I think this problem is beyond even the National Guard. I think there's so much nihilism in these criminals and mental illness. I don't even think seeing a guard is going to stop a lot of them. It might, they might be taken down immediately, but like in terms of NYC, Hochul put the National Guard in the subways, and you can go look up how many insane things have happened in the past 10 years.
When she did that, where the Democrats are all pissed off now, but she did it. Come on. And good, do it. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.